When you're sparring at the gym, the trainers usually give tips from the side of the ring. After listening to them for about a year, I've picked up that most of their advice comes down to a few main things. Get your jab in before the opponent. Always keep your head moving and hit both the body and the head. Even when you watch professional fights and videos, you notice the coaching is pretty similar. But it makes sense. If you're right in the middle of a fight, really focused, it's hard to take in complicated instructions. But I think the reason trainers usually stick to simple advice is because boxing doesn't really have well-defined terms for all its concepts. Thinking about all the different specialized fields that people have come up with, it's clear that in areas dealing with really abstract stuff, they use detailed names to tell apart even the small differences. For someone who's not in that field, all these names might seem too complicated. But for the people who work in that area, being able to make those fine distinctions is super important for clear communication. I really think boxing could use more precise names for its concepts. So, let's dive into how we can name different boxing combinations. My trainer at the gym always compares boxing to chess. I'm not sure they're all that similar, but one interesting thing is how, in chess, they've got all these different tactics that work well, and each one has its own special name. The Queen's Gambits got really famous because of that TV show about chess. But in chess, there are other tactics with names like Ruy Lopez and Sicilian Defense. These names sound pretty stylish and cool, but they don't follow a set system for naming, so it's hard to use them for sorting everything out neatly. Still, for giving names to the really standout moves, this kind of naming could work well. For naming all the little differences in boxing combos in a detailed way, it might be smart to look at how taxonomy does it. They're really good at handling all the different types of living things. But you know, in biology, they sort everything into this big tree with categories like domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Trying to come up with a similar kind of structure for all the boxing moves, that's a pretty tough job. In this article, to really highlight why it's important to have clear names, I'm suggesting a simple way of putting numbers in order for the combinations. We're going to take the combos from combinations by distance and give each one a number, sorting them by how far apart you are from the opponent when you use them.
Just a heads up, the table of combinations you'll see is just a quick example. Even when we're just putting numbers on them in a simple way, it's really important to have some rules set up first. Things like what we're going to base the numbers on, and how we'll number any new combos that come up, to make sure it's actually useful.
You might be wondering if just giving names to combos really helps. But think about this. What if boxing gyms in the future come up with a big list of all the good combos, kind of like that number table we talked about, and everyone starts using it? That list could turn into a language that all boxers understand. It means you could just say the number of the combo instead of having to show it. Like, in the middle of a fight, your coach in the corner could yell out T3 instead of telling you to move your head. Even complicated instructions could be made really short and clear just by saying them. Like telling a boxer to get in close to your opponent fast and then hit them with a left hook from a left body stance is the same as saying do the D-2 move in a K3 tactic. Imagine by 2050, you might hear coaches in the corner yelling out stuff like K3, D-2. It might sound like some secret code at first, but it's just like when you're at a meeting in a field you don't know much about, and everyone's using jargon you don't get. Stick around for a bit, and you'll start to understand it.